Hey everyone, it's Jason, recording another episode of the Now to Next podcast. Now, this week, I want to talk about two reports that I had the opportunity to read. Two reports. I was sitting in the lobby of a hotel in New York early in the morning, coffee in hand, and the thing that I really wanted to do was to digest these reports. I love reading reports because they help me with signals. They help me really think through signals. So the two reports were OpenAI's new State of the Enterprise AI report, and then NTT Data had another report, which is called the 2026 Global AI Leaders Playbook. And both of them, after going through them, really helped me see kind of where we are on this AI journey as an industry and as people, and I wanted to use this opportunity as a way to talk about that. Really quickly in going through the reports, I kind of felt like a jolt, I guess, and I haven't felt that many other times in my career. But the thing that these reports made me realize is that the game that we're playing has completely changed. And I'll talk about why in a few minutes, but it also made me think in the conversations that I'm having day to day with organizations around the world that most people don't even realize that we're playing a different game. So I'm going to talk about three things, like three pillars that I'd love for you to think about that I took away from these reports that I hope will be helpful as we think about it. The first one is that our operating model, well, it may not have changed on paper, has already changed. The second is this gap or this chasm we're feeling is not a technical gap. I mean, it may be in a little bit of ways, but for the most part, it's a human gap. And and third is that HR is now in the business of redesigning work. Period. In the business of redesigning work, not just managing change. So let's jump into those three: the operating model, the gap being humans, and then the business of redesigning work. So I'm sitting reading the OpenAI report, and I've taken some notes because I wanted to make sure I got these facts right. Enterprise ChatGPT usage is up times, not 8%, sorry, 8 times this year. That's huge. 8 times, 800%. And API usage is up 320 times. Now think about that. 8 times and 320 times. That's not just people trying AI, being curious and dabbling. It's truly an infrastructure change. And while most leaders are still talking about AI like it's a tool, I think employees are using these tools in a completely different way. But that 320 times API number is a completely different story. API usage isn't humans typing into ChatGPT. API usage is really the machines talking to the machines, workflows talking to workflows, systems calling intelligence automatically behind the scenes. And to me, that's where AI is becoming part of business logic, not just like business accessories. The way I think about this, and I've thought a lot about this, is that typing into GPT or ChatGPT or Copilot is like plugging in a lamp. It's helpful, it's illuminating, it's nice to have. API usage is like wiring your entire house into the grid. A lamp is a tool, electricity is a foundation. And I think right now most companies are excited about lamps. I think leaders are literally thinking about how do they rewire the building. So when you think about this stuff, every time that a recruiting system screens a resume or a self-service service case resolves a issue or a workflow switches altogether insights from 7 systems and puts them together, code is reviewed automatically before people see it. That's not someone using AI. That's AI running beneath the surface, the way kind of electricity runs in our walls. That's the difference between AI as a tool and AI as an operating model. And that's why I think that this kind of freight truck analogy makes so much sense. Consumer AI, which is what most people play with, is the city car. It's kind of fun, quick, zippy, cool. But enterprise AI, especially through these APIs, is a freight truck. It carries this operational weight and it changes the economics of business. NTT Data in that second report put this nicely in my eyes. They actually said that AI strategy is the business strategy. So between this NTT report and this OpenAI report, it shows that enterprise AI is no longer about super users. It's about system level intelligence flowing through the company. And I think that's why everything feels off inside a lot of companies, is because right now we're trying to run 2025 workflows on a 2019 operating model. The operating model already changed. And for us, the question is, are we willing to see it and how fast can we act on it? So that's the first pillar. The second pillar, you guys know if you've listened to me before, I talk about this a lot. The gap is human, not technical. Once you accept that the operating model has changed, the next question is, so what's stopping us from moving? What's stopping us from keeping up? And the answer isn't the technology. In this OpenAI report, and we'll put these links in the show guide, frontier workers, frontier workers, the way OpenAI defines this, whether you agree with it or not, is the top 5%. They're using AI 6 times more for writing, 10 times more for analysis, and 17 times more for coding than the median worker. Like 17 times more than the median worker. Same company, same access, same tools. The only difference, depth, depth of the person. So to me, this is one of the first transformations in history where the gap is going to be created by willingness, not access. Now, here's the other thing that's really interesting. 75% of workers say AI is helping them to do tasks they couldn't do before. Things like coding, analytics, and automation. Think about how wild that is. 75% say AI is helping them do tasks they couldn't do before. So we used to think of coding and analytics as deeply specialized skills. Now, a frontline worker can generate models, a marketer can automate workflows, a recruiter can build a custom GPT without talking to IT. Not saying that's good, but they can. This isn't upskilling, it's capability unlocking. And in the same organization, truly the same organization, someone in the next seat over might not use AI at all. It's not a technology problem, it's a human problem. At the organizational level, in this NTT data report, they made the same point, but kind of from a different angle. AI leaders are 2.5 times more likely to achieve high revenue growth and 3.6 times more likely to run high margins. Why? It's not because they have better model. It's not because they have better models, excuse me. It's because they're working smarter. They move faster. They're embracing change. They lean into these learning loops. They don't wait for perfection. They don't avoid risk. They manage it and they don't do change management. They cultivate changefulness. You know, there was a line that I wrote down from the NTT data report that kind of summarized it for me. Only 16.6% of AI leaders prefer to wait and let others take the risks first. That means an AI leader takes risks. 83% of leaders, that means, believe momentum beats caution. Momentum beats caution. And I think that's something we can all take away from this in HR. If skill development happens from usage, and usage only happens when people feel safe, and experimentation only happens inside cultures with trust, then the human gap, not the technical gap, is really the defining challenge. AI isn't replacing people. but people who don't use AI will absolutely be outperformed by those who do. And every single day, I think that gap is growing exponentially. So that second pillar, it's more a human issue than a technical issue. And then the third pillar, HR has to redesign workflows. HR's job isn't to guide adoption. I mean, that might be the old school world. To me, HR's job now is to re architect how work works. If the operating model is powered by AI, and if the biggest gap is human, pillars one and two, then HR becomes the function that should be responsible for designing these new workflows, rewiring the job architecture and rewriting it, building data readiness, shaping culture and mindset, and making sure that every role has a path to this new augmented world. This is not systems implementation. This is not updating your competency model. It's truly foundational redesign in my mind. And it's one of the things that when I speak with HR leaders, they struggle with the most. So I took one thing. I'm going to simplify one thing that HR can do and give you three ways that I kind of jotted down that they could do it. First, pick one workflow, just one flow, and redesign it end to end with AI. Don't pilot, don't just optimize, redesign. First principles thinking. Whether that's onboarding, case management, talent reviews, manager inquiries on a topic, recruiting coordination. Take one workflow, take 30 days, redesign it. And I guarantee you, I just did this with a client last week. You're going to learn more about inefficiencies in those 30 days than in 6 months of actually talking about it. Two, fix the data. So if AI can't see your data, it can't improve it. OpenAI in this report made something really, really interesting to me. 1 in 4 enterprises still haven't turned on data connectors. What does that mean? We're not using our data to learn. Turning on data is the cheapest and fastest productivity thing we can do. So, number one, pick a workflow. Number two, fix the data. And number three, identify, I'll call them your exponential humans. Ugh, I hate labeling people, but the curious ones, the fearless ones, the ones who lean in, the ones who get 10 times better when they're paired with AI. Put them front and center. They become the proof of what's possible. Because I think the proof in this and the truth is that AI isn't going to replace people. It's replacing unaugmented or unamplified workflows. And HR's job is to make sure no one stays unaugmented or unamplified. So sorry, I get a little passionate on this topic, but after reading these reports, I had to record this. I'd love for you to walk away from this with these three pillars in mind. The model, the operating model has already changed. Don't say you're going to change it. It's already changed. The gap is truly human, not just technical. And HR needs to be that architect of that new flow. And the action, like I said, it's simple. Pick a workflow, redesign it, turn on the data, identify who those exponential humans are, and then share it. This goes back to something that I talk about a lot: leap, love, energy, audacity, and proof. Love what you do, which generates energy to do the audacious and prove value. That's what I'm asking you to do here. Leap forward. That's how transformation starts. It's not by talking about the future right now, it's by building a little tiny piece of it in the present of today. And then just all of this tied together because I've been in conversations all week on this. I really think that no one is behind. I hate when people say they feel behind. No one is behind, but everyone feels behind. I think our model going forward, and I'd love to keep talking about this on the podcast, is staying behind. Staying behind, that's a choice. That's a choice. So I hope this was helpful. Please, please comment. Please, please share. And once again, let's move from now to next together. Take care. Hope you have a great rest of the week. It is snowy in Minneapolis. It is cold in Minneapolis, but I am warm. I'm hot, and I can't wait for the rest of this year and 2026. It's going to be the biggest change we've ever seen in the world of work. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.